There's a white flower in this white vase. There's a white flower in this white vase. I have now put the white vase on a coaster. I've now put the white vase on a coaster. I've now placed the white vase at the center of the coaster. At the center of the coaster. There is water in this glass bowl. There is water in this glass bowl. I'm now going to drop a 2 rupee coin into this bowl of water. I have now dropped a 2 rupee coin into this bowl of water. That's right. We are going to look at the use of prepositions in, on, into and at, a pretty confusing area of English, in today's episode of English Made Easy. Let's look at this one. In, on, into, at. In. When do we use in? When something or somebody is placed or positioned within an enclosed area or space, that's when we use in. So, in a room, in a house, in a box. On, when some object or a person is placed or positioned on the surface or top of something, so that's when we use on. So, on the shelf, on the table, on the roof. Into. When something or somebody changes his or its position or moves from one point in space to another, that's when we have to use into. That's why I dropped the 2 rupee coin into a bowl of water. So the second object, that 2 rupee coin, was initially outside the bowl of water. So when I dropped it, it changed its position. It moved from being outside the bowl to being inside it. So to indicate that movement or motion, that shift in position from one point in space to another, we have to use into. And at, when we want to indicate a particular or a specific point in space or time for that matter, we have to use the preposition at. Therefore, at the center of the table, at the center of the room, or at the center of the coaster, or at a corner. Let's move on to more specifics now about in and at. So when do we use in and at? In a city, in a village, in the suburbs, in a town, in the desert, in a forest. So when we are referring to these places generally as generic nouns. For names of continents, for countries, for large land areas, for states or provinces, for districts, for capital cities, for large towns, we have to use in as well. My sister lives in Delhi. But for smaller towns and for names of villages, we have to use at. For instance, William Shakespeare was born at Stratford-on-Avon and not in Stratford-on-Avon. What about seaside and island? We have to use different prepositions. At the seaside and not in the seaside. And on an island, not in an island. In a bungalow, in a cottage, in a hut, in a flat, in an apartment, in a modern house, in a mansion, in a hotel, or in a caravan. But for a particular house or a specific place of residence, that's when we are thinking of the address. In fact, we have to use at. The British Prime Minister lives at 10 Downing Street and not in Downing Street. For the names of roads and streets, we generally need to use in. My best friend lives in Park Street. For place or work, when it's a building, it's in. My father works in a bank. My mother teaches in a school. My sister works in a hotel. So for all of these, the place of work is in a building. But my grandfather used to work on a rubber plantation. So with nouns like estate, farm and plantation, it's always on and not in. because they are not buildings. So it's on a farm, on an estate, or on a plantation. That's why we said my grandfather used to work on a rubber plantation and not in a rubber plantation. Well, I hope you found today's lesson on the prepositions in, on, at and into quite helpful. Do feel free to share your thoughts, comments and your feedback on today's episode, as well as your general comments, thoughts, feedback and your suggestions as to my channel English Made Easy. I'm going to be looking forward to them most eagerly. Well, thank you for watching. Do keep following me on my channel English Made Easy, and do remember to like, share and subscribe. Till we meet again on another episode, this is Shubharna signing out. Bye bye and take care.